Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jay Ramirez.
And I'm Hannah Hunter. While the UNM and NMSU football teams were battling it out on the field, their fans were doing the same in the stands. This video was taken during the Battle of I-25, and as you can see here, there was a lot of commotion during the game, and this was just one of the fights that broke out. In a separate incident, an NMSU student allegedly kicked a police officer. He's being charged with the felony battery. Victor Fierro will have more on the Aggies' victory later in sports. And Noah, tell us about this nice chilly weather we've been having.
You're exactly right, Hannah. This cold weather is while nice, a nice welcome to the borderland. It's getting a little cold out there, but you know what? It's all good. Taking a look at those current conditions just right outside your front doorstep, we are seeing those mostly cloudy skies just right outside. The temperature did not get out of those 60s today with the current temperature of 63 degrees. The wind's blowing out of the east at around 3 miles per hour, gusting at around 5. The humidity sitting at 46%, the dew point at 42, given we still have some desert moisture in the area, and the barometer sitting at 30.29. Taking a look at the conditions of which we saw today, once again, we did not get out of those 60s. 66 was your high today, very well below our average high of 78. Our low sat this morning at 41, coldest temperature of the season so far. Taking it back in time to 1991, your high was 89 degrees, and 1996, 31 was your low. In terms of precipitation, we didn't receive anything today, so that leaves our yearly rain total at an above average 13.56 inches. Now that is all for your current weather conditions. Back to the desk.
Early voting has started in New Mexico, and the turnout is off to a strong start. More than 19,700 voters have cast ballots absentee or in person since voting started last week. This is a 23% increase over the total from 4 years ago at this point in the cycle. Republicans have shown with the biggest increase so far, with a 41% jump in the number of ballots cast. Democrats, however, still make up the largest share of ballots cast. Their numbers are up 18% so far. Early voting continues through Saturday, November 5th. Stay tuned. Noah will be back with your national forecast.
Democrats are in the final push of campaigning as Election Day approaches, and that includes New Mexico's governor. We have two reports here. The first from News 22's Noah Apodaca.
With 23 days before the election, New Mexico Democrats are pushing hard on one issue in particular, abortion rights. Hundreds gathered Saturday in Las Cruces' Albert Johnson Park. And before the governor spoke, other New Mexico politicians warmed up the crowd.
And we have to make sure that we elect a Congress and that we elect a Senate that will be able to codify Roe versus Wade into law in the next 2 years.
How many days from the election? 24, that's right. Some of you are counting down the days.
We won't go back.
We won't go back.
Abortion is legal in New Mexico because of us. So when someone says, isn't it fair to, ask everyone? No. My healthcare decisions are not subject to anybody else's decision or approval.
In recent months, following the reversal of Roe v. Wade, Governor Lujan Grisham signed an executive order that protects healthcare providers from possible legal issues and protects individuals who may travel to New Mexico for abortions.
There will be no way that somebody gets to vote about my health care. I already have a choice.
Abortion is health care, and all people should have affordable access to health care, period.
A woman's right to choose is fundamental. I make all the decisions on my body. They should as well have that right.
It was a busy weekend for the governor, and she says it's not going to get any easier up until Election Day.
I'm going to fight and power through as long as I can count on you to vote, get your neighbors to vote, and call everyone.
While people at the governor's rally are hopeful that the policies will continue for the next 4 years if she is reelected, there are protesters on the other side, and Noah Race has the rest of that story.
People arrived from multiple different cities and states. The issue they're most passionate about is abortion.
But Lord, we need to pray for them also.
The anti-abortion crowd was at least as big as the one for the governor. Their signs carried their message. Mark Cavalier came from El Paso.
So for the past 50 years, Roe versus Wade has essentially been telling women they have no choice to be successful other than to alter, suppress, and destroy the normal, healthy functions of her natural body. And we're here to say that women deserve better than abortion. Abortion is not health care.
While the governor spoke, the protesters marched, praying for an end to abortion.
The governor and some of the things that they do, they promote these evilness and they go one direction. But tell the truth, there are other means for women to get reproductive health and things to be taken care of, even right now today.
Protester Judy Stolp says that banning abortion is not a violation of women's rights. She says that there are other options.
So they could choose to give that baby away instead of choosing to end its life.
The protesters walked around the park 7 times to recall the biblical story of Joshua marching around the walls of Jericho to conquer the people inside. Noah Race, News 22.
The fall season, and it looks like we're going to take a look at our national weather forecast. Noah, can you tell us more about that?
Yes, Hannah, we can. And in fact, we had a very rainy weekend this past weekend. In fact, I took this video just right on East Northrise, heading home at around Sunday at around 7:15 p.m. You can see the car right on your screen right here is plowing through a lot of rain right there. That is due to the runoff that is created by the storm that was heading over the Oregon Mountains around 7:15 on Saturday. We did pick up an additional 0.67 inches of rainfall this past weekend, which creates our yearly rain total, to around nearly 14 inches, which is a lot higher than this time of year. Taking a look at our next map of what we're looking at in terms of our current radar conditions across the country. Very dry here in the desert Southwest. You can see nothing in Texas, Arizona, Utah, Colorado. Pretty dry in the western part of the United States, where most of the activity is focused around the Great Lakes region. We can see Green Bay, Wisconsin, Chicago, Detroit, Michigan, experiencing more of a rain intensified evening tonight. Of course, this map goes around to around 7 p.m. tonight, so we can expect those rain chances to be present in the Midwest, in the Great Lakes region. Taking a look at our next map of what we can look forward to for our temperature outlook for the next week, we are expecting those conditions to be fairly mild here in the desert Southwest region. We can also see that we'll continue to see likely below average temperatures, so what we've been experiencing can be expected for the next week. Of course, those temperatures will heat up out towards the eastern part of the United States, Memphis, Atlanta, Columbus, Ohio, all expected to reach those above average temperatures for what they're looking at in terms of this time of year. Taking a look at our next map of what we can expect for the lows tonight. Those temperatures, that cold front moving in from the Arctic, we can see very cool temperatures tonight. We can see Minneapolis, 25 degrees tonight. If you have know anybody up there, make sure to tell them to take their jacket out in the morning. 21, International Falls, 33 in Sault Ste. Marie, Detroit, 39. Moving down south, Jacksonville, 48, Tampa at 52, El Paso at 47. Moving out west in Los Angeles, 68, and in San Francisco at 56. So warmer out in the western part of the United States. Now that is all for my national weather forecast. Don't go anywhere, because after the break we'll take a look at those New Mexico temperatures and what you can expect for the next week. Welcome back to News 22 Tuesday. Taking a look at the current conditions across your state of the land of enchantment, we can see very below average conditions for this time of year. We can see up in the mountains of Santa Fe at 59 degrees, Farmington at 64, Gallup at 63, moving down south to Socorro, 64, Clovis at 63, Roswell is sitting at 59, mountains of Ruidoso 52, very cool out there tonight. Las Cruces 63, and over in Deming 62 degrees. Taking a look at what we can expect for tomorrow, those conditions will heat up ever so slightly from today. We can see Santa Fe 66 will be their high for tomorrow, Farmington at 71, Gallup 69, Albuquerque at a beautiful 70 degrees, Clovis 72, Ruidoso 64, very cool still over there, Roswell at 73, 69 here in Cruces, a little bit from what we saw, higher from what we saw today, and over in Deming at 68. Taking a look at the neighboring city of Alamogordo tonight, we can see clear skies with a low of 41 degrees. Tomorrow they will heat it up to 68 with partly cloudy skies. Truth or consequences, 44 clear skies tonight, heating it up to 69 degrees tomorrow, partly cloudy skies once again. Silver City, low of 39 degrees tonight. Very cool over there. 65 will be their high tomorrow with those partly cloudy skies. And bringing it back here to the city of the Crosses, we can see 44 degrees tonight. Once again, a very cool evening. And 69 will be your high tomorrow with those partly cloudy skies as the moisture moves out of the area. That is all for your New Mexico temperatures. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a final look at that 5-day forecast. But now let's send it back to the desk for more news.
Thanks, Noah. Aggie fans are still celebrating this evening after Saturday's hard-fought victory over the UNM Lobos. Last Thursday evening, the campus really got into the mood with the annual burning of the Lobo. The long-standing tradition kicks off the football weekend every time the Lobos come to town and play. The southeast side of the Aggie Memorial Stadium lights up when the fire starts.
It was pretty fun. Like, I wish they gave a warning, like when it was going to start, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's a nice little fire.
I'm hoping that they win. I'm definitely going to wear my colors.
Me too. I'm really excited. It's my first Aggie Lobo game. I'm really excited.
A lot of people, and then like I saw a lot of friends, and it's a good vibe.
Yeah, I like when the whole school comes together for events.
Out onto the game on Saturday as the Aggies beat the Lobos for the first time in 3 years. And Victor Fierro's next with sports.
Thank you, Hannah. Coming up in sports, the Aggies are coming off a big win. You can toss that remote because News22 Sports is next.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. It's time to kick it with Vic. The Battle of the I-25 is now in the books after a wild night. In the 112th meeting between the New Mexico State Aggies and New Mexico Lobos, they entered the Aggie Memorial Stadium holding a 3-game win streak over the Aggies. 12 minutes into the first quarter, New Mexico State's Gavin Frakes finds receiver Amonte Watkins for a 22-yard touchdown. UNM cuts the lead to 1 with a Luke Drzecki field goal with 7-6 Aggies. The Aggies put up 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, a 31-yard touchdown bomb to David Cordell and a Star Thomas 2-yard rushing TD as the Aggies take the game 21-9. New Mexico State women's soccer made their way to Texas on Saturday to face Sam Houston for a late season matchup. There was no score in the first half of the game until the 59th minute when Loma McNeese scored her 8th goal of the season, which ended up being the only goal of the game as McKenna Gottschalk earned her 9th clean sheet. McNeese has the chance to make NMSU history as she is now tied with Layla Todd for the most goals in a season. The win allows the Aggies to hold on to their second place position in the Western Athletic Conference. The Aggies women's golf went to Kansas for the Maryland Smith Invitational before play was suspended. The Aggies are currently tied for 8th place after day 1, but apparently Jack Frost made his way to Kansas as well as howling winds below 50 degrees. Before play was suspended due to a freeze warning, Allison Gastelum and Kaylee Chen were tied for 36th place. Chen was shooting an even 56 before play was stopped. Play was continued this morning at 10 a.m. with New Mexico State shooting a 320. For the second time in as many days, the Aggies headed up to Boulder to compete against Colorado State. Even though the Aggies got blown out in points by a score of 150-72, they were able to finish strong by setting a record in the 400 free relay. Amy Burton, Naomi Slee, and Elizabeth Cervantes Vanderlag and Lindsay Puhalski finished the relay in 3 minutes and 33.79 seconds. Their next meet is the alumni meet right here in Las Cruces on Saturday at NM State Swimming and Diving Complex. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Noah will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast.
Let's take a look at our top stories. Democrats are pushing hard on abortion rights. Hundreds gathered Saturday at Las Cruces Albert Johnson Park, where Michelle Lujan Grisham and other Democrats rallied the crowd.
Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast.
Taking a final look at that 5-day forecast, we can see those temperatures over the course of the next week will warm up ever so slightly compared to what we saw this past weekend. Tomorrow we will still see that temperatures hanging around the 69-degree mark with those mostly cloudy skies. But as we progress throughout the week, Thursday through Sunday, we can expect those conditions to warm up. 74 on Thursday, 78 by the time we reach the end of your weekend, with those windy conditions returning to the forecast at least on Sunday. Lows will stay out through the mid-40s to the low 50s as well, but that's pretty much straightforward for the next 5 days. Back to the desk.
And that's all for News 22 Tuesday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Tune in tomorrow night for more news. I'm Hannah Hunter.
And I'm Jay Ramirez. And from the whole News 22 team, Hannah, Noah, Victor, and myself, have a great night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Hola, muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Álvaro Fernández y les traigo las noticias en breve del día de hoy. El fin de semana pasado, la gobernadora Michelle Lujan Grisham llegó a Las Cruces como parte de su campaña política para reelegirse como gobernadora. Con 23 días antes de las elecciones, los demócratas están haciendo énfasis en un tema en particular, el derecho al aborto. Cientos de personas se reunirán el sábado en el parque Albert Johnson para apoyar a Lujan Grisham, quien poco después de la revocación del caso Roe v. Wade firmó una orden ejecutiva que protege a los ciudadanos que viajen a Nuevo México para tener un aborto. Fue un fin de semana ocupado para la actual gobernadora, pero dijo que solo se iba a poner más difícil hasta que llegue el día de las elecciones. Se espera que si Lujan Grisham es reelegida, se van a poder mantener estas leyes durante los próximos 4 años. Un estudiante de NMSU enfrentará cargos por delito después de patear a un oficial. Este incidente ocurrió el sábado durante el tailgate del partido NMSU contra UNM, aunque la hora exacta no se sabe. De acuerdo con los oficiales Paul Brock y Justin Pearton, recuentan que ellos se encontraban patrullando cuando el despacho les avisó de un grupo que se estaba comportando de manera alborotada. Los oficiales se encontraron con un individuo de 18 años en estado de ebriedad que estaba ahorcando a un hombre que lo intentaba ayudar. Ellos lo esposaron, pero el estudiante se resistió. Finalmente pudieron meter al estudiante dentro de su patrulla, no sin antes que el estudiante pateara a Brock 3 veces. Finalmente, los oficiales llevaron al Centro Médico Memorial, en donde se está recuperando de las heridas que sufrió. Esto ha sido todo por mi parte. Que tengan muy buenas noches.